Hey guys, my name is Neel and welcome to Neel Workshop Zone. So in this episode we're going to be talking about operators. So in my previous episode we talked about variables, which is a practical episode. So in that episode I talked about how variables are used and how there are different types of variables and how they can be used to write code. So in this episode we're actually going to be talking about operators. So operators and variables are a little bit related, and operators are going to be really useful when you're doing code using variables. So now let's talk about operators. So operators are used to perform operations on variables and values. So they are like small things that you use like addition, subtraction, etc. And there are also the small symbols that you use during your code. So there are seven types of operators. So I won't be going too deep into it and talking about every type of operator detailedly. There will be a practical episode maybe soon. So in that episode we're going to be doing practical and also we'll be showing you how to practically do it. So now let's talk about operators. So our first type of operators is arithmetic operators. So in arithmetic operators, you can use basic types of you can use basic types of symbols and words, like for example you can use plus, which is an addition. You can use a minus, which is subtraction, and you can also use a asterisk symbol for multiplication. Then you can also use a slash symbol for division. You can use a double asterisk as a exponent. You can use a double slash for floor division. And then you can also use percentage for modulus. So for example, if you take, let's take 2 and 5. So for the syntax for addition is x plus y. So if you take two numbers and write something like 2 plus 5, you get 7. Next, for subtraction. If you take subtraction, you get the syntax of x minus y. So 2 minus 5 is equal to minus 3. Next, you have multiplication. So multiplication syntax is the same, 2 into 5, which prints out 10. You have division. Now, when it comes to division, floor division, there's a little difference. So for example, the division syntax is x by y, so 2 by 5. So when you do it, you get the answer in decimal form, which is 2.5. But the difference between division and floor division is for floor division, it's the same mostly with double slash, but the answer will not be 2.5, it will only be 2 because it doesn't print the decimal part of the value. So that is the difference between division and floor division. Next you have exponents, which is basically x to the power of 5, so 2 to the power of 5, which translates to 128, 64. So that is basically how exponents work. Then you have modulus, which is basically percentage. So that is basically how the basic arithmetic operators works. So now let's talk about assignment operators. So now let's talk about assignment operators. So assignment operators are used to give a particular value for a variable. So for example, you have equals to, which is equals to as the name says, and it's basically used for defining a variable. So you can write something like x is equals to 5. So you define the variable. Next you have plus equals to, which basically, the syntax of it is basically, x is equals to x plus y. So the syntax for equals to is x is equals to y. Here you can write, if it's plus, then you can write x is equals to x plus y, which means if you take so for example you can write something like x is equals to x plus 5. Same with the other assignment operators like minus, equals to, which basically converts into x minus y, x is equals to x minus y. You have multiplication, which is x is equals to x into y. You have division, which is equals to x is equals to x divided by y. And you have all the arithmetic operators also for assignment operators, but you can define the value. So you can write something like x is equals to x plus y, or x is equals to x minus y, etc. So assignment operators is basically used for design, defining a variable. So now let's talk about the next type of variables. So so now let's talk about comparison operators. So as the name suggests, comparison operators are basically used to compare two two variables. So basically comparison operators basically include equals to, which is the same one, but it's also a comparison operator. You can use exclamation mark and equals to, which translates to not equal to. So you can write something like x is equals to y, or x is not equals to y. You also have other, like greater than, which means x is greater than y. You have lesser than, which means x is lesser than y. You have greater than equals to, which basically means it's either x is greater than y or equals to y. You have lesser than or equals to, which means x is x is lesser than y or equals to y. So you have comparison operators like that. So for example, you can write something like here you can write something like x is equals to 2 and y is equal to 2. So this is correct, this is wrong, and if you take it's greater than, it's not, so it's false, this is false, and since 2 is greater than 2 is equal to, it's true and true. So you can take two integers like that, and you can also provide, you can also do comparison code. So you can also do comparison between different variables and integers, and that's what comparison operators are used for. So as you can see here, I kept to x is equals to 2, y is equals to, and then I kind of showed an example if you use both of these variables, if the following types of operators are true or not. So that is basically comparison operators that use to compare different variables. So now, okay, so we wanted to talk about a lot more, but for this episode I think the time is running out, and so yeah, we talked about only some of these. In the next episode we'll talk about more of these, and maybe then we can do a practical. So yeah, for now these are the operators, these are some of the operators. We'll talk about them in the next episode, but for now, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out any new videos. And that's all folks, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.